excited to try this. Today we're making pasta fagioli. I've never made this before, ever. I've had it once and it wasn't very good. But we're gonna fix it. Because I've scoured the internet for the traditional, the certified Italian way to make pasta fagioli. Now that's a bit of a loaded statement because there's Italians from Italy and Italians from New York. And they don't necessarily agree much. They do agree on one thing. It's pasta and beans. That's pasta e fagioli. That's what it means. I'm excited for this. The one time that I had it, my wife and I were still dating, and we were about to move in together. She just went to hang out with me and she brought Italian, and that was one of the dishes. I remember the pasta not being very good, but I still remember it to this day because she brought it for me. Because she made that effort and made it special, where I had my plate full and I couldn't do it, but she picked up the slack. And that's why I married her. Not really, there's a million other things, but one of the things. So, let's get to it. You want to start by washing the beans and soaking them overnight. Traditionally, cranberry beans are used, but cannellini also work. The beans will absorb water and get bigger. So you really want to add water until you have about 2 inches above the beans when they're dry. As they soak, they start to release impurities. This turns the water very thick and cloudy and slimy. That's the impurities. Throw it down the drain and rinse the beans until you don't feel any more sliminess. If you don't do this, you run the risk of getting really gassy over the next few days, and no one wants that. Once your beans are rinsed, it's time to cook them. For the purposes of this video, since we're trying to replicate the traditional way of cooking pasta fagioli, we're not using a pressure cooker. This will be low and slow in a pot. Add 2 quarts of chicken stock and your beans to a pot and cover and simmer for about 2 to 2.5 hours. Once the beans are soft, al dente, take them off the heat and separate them. Save the cooking liquid. Split the beans into 2 bowls. One is for the end where you eat them whole, and the other half we're going to turn into puree to add creaminess to the soup. For the soup. And I'm just going to split it half and half. Why? Because you want 2 things here. In the same pot, add olive oil in your bacon. Cook on medium heat, and this will start the rendering process. Once the bacon fat is foamy, add the sausage chopped into chunks and sauté them. Once they start getting some caramelization, add the onions, carrots, and celery. It looks like a lot, but it'll quickly start to cook down as the liquid in the vegetables evaporates. Continue stirring so you don't develop any burning areas at the bottom. Add 2 heaping tablespoons of tomato paste and mix them in. Once the onions are translucent, add more chicken stock. This is going to help break down everything in there. It's a good hit of acid and it dissolves everything. Just incorporated. This deglazes the pot and intensifies the flavors. You can also use water. Also, add half of the cooking liquid from the beans. The other half we're going to save to make the bean puree, like I said before. Just blend anywhere until it's a smooth consistency and add that to the soup. Let it simmer while we build the next layer of flavor. I'm also going to add half of the bean water that we cooked. Because the other half is going on here. Nothing is wasted here. When I first saw this recipe, I was hesitant to add more fat for fear of becoming greasy or giving heartburn. But that's not what happened. At the end, I really benefited from that extra depth of flavor from the toasted garlic and the rosemary. In a small saucepot, add olive oil and a tablespoon of lard or bacon fat. Throw 6 or 7 cloves of garlic and a sprig of rosemary in it. Use the sage if you have it also. Just fry these until the garlic is toasted golden and you'll smell a nutty flavor coming off of them. The whole house is going to smell great with that. You only want the flavored oil though. Discard the garlic and rosemary and strain that oil into the soup. Normally we use ditallini, but I didn't have any ditallini, so we use Radiatori, little itty bitty radiators. Oops. Those will take about 15 minutes to cook, so. And a little bit more chicken stock. Minus this. This recipe has already drunk almost 3/4 chicken stock. You can serve it with olive oil and fresh tomatoes. Add red pepper flakes if you like it spicy. And in my opinion, I really like it that way and it really benefits from it. But you do you. My wife hates spicy, so we have to add it individually. And there you have it. Unlike the American version of pasta fagiole, or pasta fazool, this one eats more like a stew than a soup. There is no Parmesan cheese rind, no kale or other leafy greens, and this recipe uses relatively few ingredients, just multiple versions of them. Thoughts? Pasta and beans. Not a combination that I would have thought of, because it's starchy and starchy, but the soup is rich, obviously with all the stuff that we put in it. Tomatoes, the acidity of the fresh tomatoes, it helps. Carrots, onions. Carrots are sweet, and you feel that sweetness because they're almost melted into the soup. There's not a ton of liquid, it's very thick, you can tell. It works. Mind you, it's a 3-hour soup. But the payoff is worth it. And the payoff really makes sense. And no two bites are the same. It is delicious. Does it need parm? I don't think so. It has enough depth of flavor from the bacon. It has the meatiness of the sausage. Plenty of vegetables. So I think it's good. I think it's good the way it is. I might make it again or make another variation of this in the future. But if you guys like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel, it helps us grow, and it helps me pay for all of this. And at the same time, it brings something good. So if you guys like it, please support. It's greatly appreciated. And yeah, see you next time. Now I'm gonna give some of this to my kid for lunch. And if he likes it, I'll let you know.